Hey, welcome back to SV Ramble. Today I'm down in the lazarette, and one of the things I want to do is replace the drain hoses for the cockpit scuppers. Yeah, they're starting to get cracked and they don't drain very well. What we got here is the two forward drains go overboard on the port side, and the two aft drains drain starboard. So depending on which tack you're at, the cockpit will always drain. I'm replacing it with that bilge flex type hose, that spiral wound kind of bilge flex, I think is what it's called. So the first thing I'm going to do is vacuum out the scuppers from inside the cockpit and then clean out all the crud. Maybe blow some air through there and make sure the lines are clear of any water and debris. Then I can empty everything out of the cockpit locker so I can gain access to the thru-hull fittings. On each side, the thru-hull fittings have seacocks on them, and I don't think I've ever even exercised them, so I'm going to have to wrangle those a bit with a wrench, get them working again, and make sure that they can close off in case of an emergency. So let's get cranking. So now we're down in the lazarette and you're looking at the floor of the cockpit footwell. And this is the starboard forward scupper. And this is port forward. And they tee together right here. Then they go out underneath this bench and end up overboard right here. And there's a seacock that needs some serious exercising. I'll get to that seacock in a minute, and luckily it's above the waterline so I can mess around with it, no problem. But next thing I gotta do is start disconnecting these old hoses, getting these things ripped out. You can see right here they put that black glue. It's like some sort of sealant that they used all over the boat. All the plumbing that we've already changed had this kind of goop on all the connections, so this ought to be interesting. So now for a little cleanup of the wire wheel before I start putting everything back together on this side. So what I'm doing here is trying to figure out, the old hose came down and had a little bit of a belly to it. And I was going to try and get it up a little bit higher so that it gravities better. Plus it was kind of in the way for just accessing the oil filter back here. So under here is the engine oil filter. So in order to do that and utilize the lengths of hose that I have most effectively, I want to raise this up. So there you go. That's the forward side. So this is the aft starboard side thru-hull fitting for the aft port and starboard cockpit drains. And this is the issue that I have, is that the cockpit drains coming down from here that tee together with this side on the other side of the steering gear comes down. And in order to get around this framework, they just put a big old belly way down here. And so this thing always holds water. So one of the things I want to do is see if I can route the plumbing so as to avoid that low spot. Also, we did have a comment in another video, and someone was asking about, on the bilge pump that I did, if I was worried that I didn't bond the through hull, or was I considering bonding that through hull. And it sits way above the water line. It's right at the tow rail, so I'm not too concerned about that as far as electrolysis goes. But these ones, all the existing through hulls that are at or below the water line are bonded with this green wire, and they're all tied together, including the rudder post and I think even the chain plates. And so, yeah, I didn't mention it on the forward through hull fitting, but yeah, this seacock and through hull are bonded. So anyway, thanks for the comment on that video, and just wanted to clarify it on this one since it just popped into my mind when I saw that green wire. I went ahead and decided to spare you the profanity and the giant fight that occurred getting the other two hose connections dealt with. This is the one side, and went ahead and routed it high and behind the steering quadrant, or the bracing for the quadrant. Currently, I've done full swing with the wheel, and the quadrant does not affect this at all. Here's the other side that tees in. That's the vertical drop, and it stays high. There's just a tiny little bit of standing water, not a big deal. Not like I found a bunch of black water came out of the old one. And then it goes out to the seacock and the through hull. And these things, this one actually is pretty easy to move as well. I didn't have to mess with that one much. But the other one has been exercised, and it turns pretty freely by hand as well. So there's one more project to check off the list. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up, and feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also hit us on our website, svrambleon.com, or under svrambleon on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram has an underscore between SV and Ramble On. Catch you on the next one.